morning, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. We are very excited to have all of you tune in today. So what we're going to do is we have a special guest here. So we have some porcupines that we're going to introduce you to, but we also are going to start off with one of our smaller species, and I'm going to flip the camera around. And I also want to let everybody know that we are social distancing today because it's very important. Let me see here. I'm going to swap the camera around right here. So, hi, Tracy. I'm going to go ahead and have you introduce yourself. And can you tell me how we're social distancing today?
Yes, well, hi, my name is Tracy. I'm one of the wildlife trainers here at Lion Country Safari. So I train some of the animals, but I also take care of some of our animal ambassadors that we show you guys. Now today we are social distancing. Social distancing in porcupines means 3 North American porcupines, like Pokey between us, or 2 African crested porcupines. So those are the proper social distancing measures that we're using this morning. Now this is Pocahontas. She is a North American porcupine. And this is the second largest species of rodent in North America. And she's enjoying one of her favorite snacks. She loves to eat corn. Now Pocahontas is an herbivore. All porcupines are herbivores. Now she likes to eat different things here at the park. We make sure to give her a varied diet. She needs a lot of different produce. So she gets corn, sweet potato, mostly vegetables, a little bit of fruit. But one important thing we give her is actually logs. She does have long, sharp teeth that grow. And in the wild, they eat a lot of tree bark, twigs, and they like the inner part of the bark called the cambium. Now, not only is that important for nutrition, it also helps wear down her teeth. Since she is a rodent, her teeth grow all the time. So she does have to gnaw to wear down her teeth. So it's important to give her a balanced diet to keep her healthy. Another thing we do to take care of Pocahontas here at the park is make sure she has a lot of things to climb to keep her fit. She looks a little round because she's so fluffy, but she does have a lot of logs to climb on. This species loves to climb trees. We clean her exhibit every day. We make sure she has plenty of fresh water and things to do. So there's a lot that goes into taking care of Pocahontas here at the park.
Now, I just want to make sure, can everybody see us and hear us okay? Okay, looks good. So I'm just going to get a little bit of an up-close look here just because she's munching, and you'll be able to see her claws, how she's able to grip on.
She has curved claws to help her climb trees. And if you get a close-up look of her at her teeth, she does have sharp front incisor teeth. They're orange, not because she forgot to brush, but because they do have an iron oxide coating to keep them pretty hard in the front. There's no coating on the back, so the teeth can actually wear against each other to wear down. So you can get a good look at that when she's in close.
Tracy, aren't you afraid, though, that she's going to shoot her quills?
No, I'm actually not afraid. You do see that on television and movies, but it is false. Porcupines cannot shoot their quills. No porcupine can do that. Those quills are modified hair. They're made out of keratin, the same thing our hair and fingernails are made from. So she can't shoot out her quills any more than you can shoot out her hair. Now, if she shakes her body, some of her quills may fall out, just like some of your hairs may fall out if you shake your head. So that's where that myth came from. If she shakes her body really nice, say she gets a little wet or misted in the rain, she's going to shake, and some of the quills may look like they're flying out. They're just falling out. There's no force behind it. She can't actually hurt you that way. So it is a myth that they shoot their quills. The only way I can get hurt is if I actually touch those quills.
Now, what's the difference between her versus like a hedgehog?
Now, she is different from a hedgehog because she is part of the rodent family. She does have those rodent teeth. She's also an herbivore. Her quills are very loosely attached into her skin. They come out easily. A hedgehog is an insectivore, so it eats a lot of bugs, and it has teeth very close to those of a carnivore. They have little sharp teeth. They also have spines that don't come out very easily, whereas Pocahontas will shed her quills continuously, and they keep growing sort of like our hair. Hedgehogs actually go through something called quilling, which is more like a bird molting. So they'll shed out their spines and grow them kind of back out once. So they are two different separate species. They're not really related. Porcupines are more related to rodents.
So I think she's super cute. So she would make a great pet, right?
She would not make a good pet. As we talked about, she likes to gnaw. She gnaws on everything. she also sheds those quills. It wouldn't be very nice to walk in your house with bare feet and get those quills stuck into your feet. All porcupines do shed their quills. They like to gnaw, and they're all nocturnal. So she likes to be up all night long while you're trying to sleep. So they are not good pets.
Wonderful. So I actually have Chelsea here. So Chelsea is one of our educators here at Lion Country Safari. And I'm going to have her answer some of the more questions that came through. And she's also going to follow some of our STEM standards. So Chelsea, do you mind stepping a little bit closer over here to our little porcupine friend?
All right, so I know that you guys asked some really great questions about these species being endangered. There's over 24 species of porcupine in the world. You got your New World porcupines, which is what Pokey is here, and then you also have Old World porcupines, which are what the African crested porcupines are behind us. Both species are doing great in the wild. Thankfully, they are not endangered. However, there is one species of porcupine that is endangered right now, and there's 2 that are listed as vulnerable. The rest, thankfully, are doing well. And you guys also asked, what can you guys do to help wildlife, which we love hearing here at Lion Country Safari. Something that's really simple is just recycling. You'd be surprised how much that helps us out, and wildlife as well. If you recycle plastic water bottles, or even better, use a reusable water bottle that you can take home and clean out when you get home, that's even better. Maybe don't use plastic bags, use reusable shopping bags. Some stores actually give you discounts for those. So just recycling, it's the easiest thing to do.
All right, boys and girls. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to go introduce you to a couple other porcupines. So let me hand this video off here. We're going to keep showing Pokey here.
Now, as you guys look at Pokey, as Tracy said, she's a lot fluffier than Spiky, and that's because of her habitat. Animals adapt to their environments. So Pokey here is a North American porcupine. She likes to climb trees, so her habitat is vastly different than the crested porcupines in the other exhibit. So these guys like to climb trees. The other kind, they like to live on the ground and they like to dig burrows. So even though both species do have quills, you'll notice that their quills are different. Pokies are short, whereas the African crested porcupines, their quills are long. So they've adapted to their different environments. African crested porcupines like to dig burrows, so their quills are nice and long. They also have longer quills in the back that actually help them when they're digging burrows to let them know if there's something sneaking up behind them. So different adaptations for their different environments.
All right, boys and girls. So this is a different types of species of porcupines here that we have here at the park. And Tracy is going to show you how we feed them in the mornings. So Tracy, what exactly does your daily routine look like for these types of porcupines?
Well, for these 2 porcupines, Mo and Sahara, we come in every morning and we clean the exhibit. We sweep up any mess. We clean up any, when they go to the bathroom, we have to hose that up. We have to rake up. We try to keep the exhibit really clean. Once a week, we scrub it very well with disinfectant. We also make sure to keep their water bowls very clean. So we do a lot of cleaning in this exhibit every single morning. Now, in the morning and sometimes the afternoon, they usually get a couple of feedings. We'll give them their different types of food. Again, all porcupines are herbivores, so they're getting a variety of produce. Now, unlike the North American porcupine, these guys live only on the ground, so they eat a lot more roots and tubers and shoots than the North American porcupines. So they do get a lot of things like sweet potatoes and turnips and beets and more root vegetables. That's more of a natural diet for them. Now, you may wonder why we give them paper bags. Sometimes people think we threw trash in here. That's actually something we call environmental enrichment. These guys spent all night in the wild foraging for food. That means they're digging and looking for food. So we try to hide it in different things so that they kind of have to look for their food. They do like to chew up the paper bags. They'll actually put it in the house and make a nest. Sometimes Sahara wears it on his head. So they really enjoy the bags. And we just clean them up the next day. We give them different things like logs to chew on. You can see they chew some logs in here. So the main thing we're looking at is cleaning the exhibit, making sure they have things to chew. What I didn't mention with Pokey is we also check the animals every day. We make sure that they're walking fine, their eyes are clear, their nose are clear, they're eating fine. So we make sure they're healthy every single day.
Why is his quills all stuck up like that just
His
now?
quills are up. He's excited because he's eating, and maybe he thinks that she's going to come take his food, so he's a little puffy. Now these guys, if you notice, they have their quills just on the back half, unlike Pokey, who has them all over her body. And they do puff them up when they're excited, and they also puff them up as a threat. They try to look really big. Those black and white stripes on their quills will actually help kind of show off to predators that are colorblind that these guys may be dangerous. They also have 3 types of quills. So the first thing they're going to do if they're scared is puff up, try to look menacing and big. They also have quills at the base of the tail. I think Kristen's getting there. Those are hollow. They can make a sound similar to that of a rattlesnake, and it's kind of a scary sound to try to scare away predators. And sometimes they use it for communication as well. So that puffy means, no, don't come over here and take my food. He also might be excited. There's a lot of people around right now. And these guys were raised in human care, so they're actually pretty good around people. In the wild, they wouldn't be so much.
I see that there's some quills on the ground. Would you be able to pick one up and show the camera? The students, I'm sure, would love to see what it would look like up close.
I will go get some quills. Now, we've got this long one. We've also got sharp ones here. You can see how big they are. My hand.
You want to come right on up. There we go.
Now, these are very sharp. They're very stiff. They actually have a foamy core in the middle, but they're very stiff. These are the ones she's going to use for protection. This longer one actually isn't very sharp. It's called a guard hair. The ones that are sticking out the furthest from their bodies are actually like having whiskers on their behind. So if they're backing up, they can feel behind themselves as well. Porcupines don't have the greatest eyesight, so these guys have whiskers in the front and back.
That's really neat. So Chelsea, is there any type of adaptations that you can tell us about these that might be different than Pokey that we just met?
So yeah, we briefly discussed how their quills are a little different. Tracy also mentioned that they have 3 different kinds of quills, whereas Pokey only has one that covers all of her body, whereas these guys have different layers that each have their own adaptation. So also these guys, their feet are a little different than how Pokey's was. You heard Tracy mention how Pokey had those curved hook-shaped claws to help her climb. These guys aren't climbing anything, so their claws aren't the same as Pokey's are. However, since they are rodents, just like Pokey, they do have that buck teeth as well. So once again, different environments allow for different adaptations to form.
All right, boys and girls, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hand the camera off to Tracy here because she's one of their primary trainers, so they're very used to her. That way she can go ahead and get a little bit more of a close look on what they're doing. So Tracy, just so you know that the camera is on this side and you'll be able to see what you're viewing right here.
All right. So this porcupine right here, Taba, she is our female porcupine. She's eating her food out of the bag. We do have 2 of these porcupines because they are a social species. They actually live in a family group in the wild. So Mo and Sahara are litter mates. Now Sahara here is neutered, so they won't, have any litters, but they're companions. They live together. Porcupines like Pocahontas do not live together. They are actually solitary. So she's by herself and she likes it that way. So you can see them munching on their food. They're holding the food in their paws.
I know you said they can't have babies, but if they do they come in different colors? And are the babies being something different?
The babies actually look very similar to the adults when they're born in almost all species of porcupines. They are born with their eyes open. They already have some teeth. They can hear. They have fur. They even have quills. The quills are soft when they're born, and they harden depending on the species within hours or maybe up to a week. Now, they do all come in just these colors. Most porcupines are a combination of brown, black, and white.
Now, you seem to be very connected to the animals here, and I know that you've been working at Lion Country Safari. What made you want to become a zookeeper and an animal trainer with shows?
Well, I really enjoy talking with people. I also like bonding with the animals and learning as much as I can. When I'm talking to you guys, I also learn about the animals too. So I have to learn so I can communicate with other people about them. I enjoy taking care of them, and I enjoy connecting people with wildlife especially. I think it's a lot of fun.
So we're going to open any questions up to the students. If there's anything that you would like us to cover, or if there's anything else that we can talk to you about, but let us know if you have any more questions.
Okay, raise your hand if you have a question. Oh, Isabella is asking, have you ever gotten poked by a quill?
I have gotten poked by one of Pokey's quills because it was in the exhibit loose, the shed, and it got stuck in my finger and it really hurt. It's hard to pull back out. Her quills actually have barbs, so they're hard to come out of the skin. So I just watch where I'm putting my hands when I'm cleaning.
There was another question. Do porcupines have shoulders, and how do you determine their gender?
They do have shoulders. They're just hard to see because they're kind of fluffy up front. These guys, their shoulders are like right behind the eye there. You can see your little elbow there, and that's her shoulder. Now, what was the other part of the question? Oh, male and female. They're actually difficult to tell. Usually a veterinarian will have to check them out while they're maybe during a health exam to tell if it's a male or female. They can be difficult to tell just by looking. So.
Great question. What are their predators?
They're predators. These guys have to look out for things like very large owls in Africa, leopards, wild dogs. These guys only have the quills on the back half. If they're caught unawares, they don't have quills on the front, so something can still grab them. Pocahontas has to look out for things like fishers, martins, a weasel type of animal, also bobcats. Know to flip them over. They don't have quills underneath, so they do have to look out for those types of predators. She has smaller predators, so she has smaller quills. They have much larger predators, so they have the larger quills.
I just saw a really cool question that came in, and they wanted to know, do people use these as weapons, their quills?
They use them a lot in jewelry and art. Now in Africa, these guys, the main problem is they are hunted actually for food. African crested are. They're a delicacy. They also are killed for those quills. You can make a lot of different things from those quills. It is keratin. It's the same thing as your fingernails. It is just stiff hair. But people can make jewelry and different things to sell to make a livelihood using these porcupine quills. So they can sell the meat as well as the quills. Also, they're farm pests. So that's one of the things that they face as well.
Are they born with quills?
They are born with quills. They're very soft when they're born, so they don't hurt the mother. These guys, their quills harden in about a week, and that's when they start to come out of their burrow. Her quills can harden in just a couple hours after she's born. And they can climb trees within a few hours after birth, too.
These are great questions coming through here.
There was one, what would happen if you put the North American porcupine in their exhibits?
I don't think they would like each other. These go with each other. Pocahontas is solitary. She likes to be by herself. So I don't think they would really get along. And these guys are much bigger. Even though she's fluffy, she's only around 20, 25 pounds. They weigh 40 and 45 pounds.
So Tracy, I saw one question come through and I just wanted to cover it. I know you work with lots of different animals, but what made you want to start kind of specializing here with working with our porcupines?
The porcupines are some of our animal ambassadors here at Lion Country Safari. They're the ones we train to do different behaviors, and we teach people about them. I love working with them. A lot of people don't know that much about porcupines. You know, you think they shoot their quills. A lot of people don't realize that they're rodents. Some people don't realize they can get this big. They think a North American porcupine, pokey size, they don't realize these get twice as large. So there's so many things people don't know about them, and I really like teaching people about them. I mean, they're beautiful. They're really interesting animals.
So there's a couple of questions here. One of the questions was, are they aggressive? And then does the mom stay with the baby when they're born?
Yes. They are aggressive if they are wild animals. These guys, even if they're startled, they'll still puff up and maybe even mock charge backwards at something that's scary. They're used to the keepers coming in and taking care of them. In the wild, they are very, very wary of things. You can see they have the guard hairs sticking out there. If they feel something against that, they're instantly going to puff up. And it's not even something they have to think about. So they are dangerous in the wild, and they can be aggressive if they're frightened, and they're just trying to protect themselves. And the moms do take care of the babies. These guys actually keep their babies around. They live in family groups, and the babies can stay with the family group about 1 to 2 years. They are weaned after about a month. They'll start eating solid food in about 2 to 3 weeks, and they're weaned after about a month. These guys wean after about 3 to 4 weeks as well, so she will take care of her babies, but not as long. They're mature at about 16 months. These guys can take up to 2 years.
Okay, we have another question about babies, about how many baby porcupines are born in a batch, and what do you call a baby porcupine?
That's one of my favorite things. A baby porcupine is called a porcupette, which is really cute. And both species will have 1 to 2 babies.
It's a really cute term.
A group of porcupines is called a litter, or is there another name for them?
It's actually called a prickle. Prickle of porcupines. It's very appropriate.
And that's actually one of the talks that you do, right? It's the prickle report.
We do something called the prickle report. Sahara is trained to do some different behaviors, showing off his natural behaviors. So sometimes we'll do a talk, and he'll show how he can dig and how he can lift his quills, and I'll show off his teeth. So we call that the prickle report, and he's our star.
What is the lifespan of porcupines?
In the wild, it's going to be about 6 to 8 years, but in human care, they can live to be about 15 to 20 for both species. We can get it all out. So they are long-lived for rodents. You can see they're pretty friendly with us. They're used to us. They know where the food comes from. See her using her little paws to hold her food.
Any other questions? I want to make sure that we try to cover everything as much as we can.
How do predators attack the porcupines if their quills are in attack mode?
I'm sorry, what was that? How do predators try to attack the porcupines if their quills are in attack mode?
Correct.
The porcupines have an excellent defense. They're actually going to keep their back. These guys are going to keep their backs towards the predator, so always facing quills towards the predator. Usually a predator is going to have to kind of catch them by surprise or get a very young porcupine. He's actually showing off really well over there. You can even see the ones at the base of the tail quivering a little. Now, if he gets that going, it'll actually make a rattle sound, and sometimes he does play. He rattles and runs in circles in the exhibit, and he's just playing. But that is a display they will do when they're threatened as well. You can see it's intimidating. I mean, a lion sees that, and they're thinking, it's not an easy meal. The other porcupine, the North American, like a bobcat, will try to get a paw under it and flip it over. So even if she's puffed up with her quills, if they can get her flipped over, she doesn't have quills on her belly. So predators can still get them when their quills are puffed up. They just have to watch where they're touching.
Chelsea, can you tell us a little bit about their habitats?
Sure. So the African crested porcupine, they have a wide variety of habitats. They can go from grasslands to deserts to different forests, whereas Pokey over the North American porcupine, they like those forested areas so that way they can climb trees. So once again, their adaptations are specific to their different types of habitats that they live in. Also, their behavioral adaptations as well. As Tracy said, these African crested porcupines, they're very social. So that's one of their behavioral adaptations is wide open spaces. They're allowed to go ahead and have more in their prickle. So that helps them survive. Whereas the North American porcupine, as Tracy said, is solitary. Since they like to climb those trees in those habitats, they don't really mind being by themselves.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
There's other questions that you all think about afterwards. Chelsea, is there a way that the students will be able to email us or they can submit their questions to us?
Absolutely. You guys can go ahead and send us those questions in an email. That email address is edreg, that's EDREG at linecountrysafari.com. And we'd be happy to answer those for you.
All right, everybody. Well, we want to thank you so much for being able to tune in with us today. We hope that you really enjoyed our porcupines and learning about the different types of species that we have. If there's any other questions, like I said, you're more than welcome to email us, and we're so excited. Thank you all very, very much for being able to tune in and ask us questions. I think you guys did a great job.
Thank you so much for inviting us in. This was perfect.
Oh, absolutely. We're happy to have you. We always love showcasing our animals here at Lion Country Safari.
She's showing the porcupines one more time. There you go, everybody.